Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you to Sandra for that wonderful introduction.
Yeah.
She is one tough and poised young lady.
Yes.
She was generous to stand up for her friend. She was brave to stand up for herself. And an eloquent advocate for women's health. And I suspect she's going to be doing some even greater things as time goes on. So. Couple of people I want to acknowledge is your own mayor, Michael Hancock's in the house. One of the best senators in the country, Michael Bennet, is in the house. A passionate advocate for working families, Ed Perlmutter. Campaign co-chair, former mayor, former secretary of transportation and energy. I'm getting tired of listing his resume. Federico Peña. And finally, I also want to acknowledge another campaign co-chair, John Register, a veteran and Paralympian. We are very proud of him, John Register. It's been 2.5 weeks since I was last here in Colorado. And, well, as maybe you know, I was in Aurora to meet those who lost loved ones during that terrible shooting. And I just had a chance to see some of the first responders who helped to save lives, comfort families. Unfortunately, since that time, we've had another tragedy in Oak Creek, Wisconsin, where 6 members of our community were killed as they entered into a house of worship. Right. And so I think we can all acknowledge we've got to put an end to this kind of senseless violence. Right. Whether it's in Oak Creek, whether it's in Tucson, whether it's in cities all across America where too many lives are cut short because of senseless violence. This is going to have to stop. And as an American family, as one American family, we're going to have to come together. Right. That's right. Look at all the approaches that we can take to try to bring an end to it. And I want you to all know that the thoughts and prayers of the entire nation remain with those in Aurora. And even though the perpetrators of these acts have received a lot of attention on them will fade. And what will be replaced are the stories of heroism and hope that we've seen here in Colorado and in Wisconsin and across the nation. That's what we'll remember. That's what's going to matter. That's what we'll remember. The strength and the resilience and the care and the love of the American people. Now, unless you've managed to completely avoid your television set or your cable is broken, you are aware that there is a pretty intense campaign going on right now. And the reason it's intense is because the choice that we face in November could not be bigger. That's right. It's not just a choice between 2 candidates, it's not even just a choice between 2 parties. More than any election in recent memory, this is a choice between 2 fundamentally different paths for our country's future. In fact, the direction that you choose, the direction that you choose when you walk into that voting booth 3 months from now, will have a direct impact not just on your lives, but on the lives of your children and the lives of your grandchildren. And that's true for everybody, but it's especially true for the women in this country. From working moms to college students to seniors. Because when it comes to the economy, it's bad enough that our opponents want to take us back to the same policies of the last decade, the same policies that got us into this mess in the first place, the same policies that saw jobs going overseas, ended up seeing people's wages and incomes going down even as the costs of everything from healthcare to college were going up. Policies that culminated in the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression and that we've spent now 3.5 years trying to recover from.
Yeah.
But when it comes to a woman's right to make her own health care choices, they want to take us back to the policies more suited to the 1950s than the 21st century. Colorado, you've got to make sure it does not happen. The decisions that affect a woman's health, they're not up to politicians.
Right.
They're not up to insurance companies. They're up to you. And you deserve a president who will fight to keep it that way. I will be, if I get as much as good as president of the United States, the people are responsible. On the issues that matter, you don't have to take my word for it, you can take me at my record.
Yep.
4 years ago, I delivered on my promise to pass health reform before the end of my first term. The Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare.
CFC.
The Affordable Care Act helps make sure you don't have to worry about going broke just because one of your loved ones gets sick. Insurance companies can no longer place lifetime limits on your care. They can no longer jack up your premiums without reason. They can no longer drop your coverage when you need it most. They can no longer discriminate against children with pre-existing conditions. They'll no longer be able to deny you coverage based on a pre-existing condition like breast cancer. Charge you more for care just because you're a woman. They can't do that anymore. This is a law that allows young adults under the age of 26 to stay on their parents' health care plans. That's already helped 6.6 million young Americans. If you're a little bit over 26, it gives seniors a discount on their prescription drugs. A discount that's already saved millions of seniors on Medicare hundreds of dollars each.
That's right.
Right now, nearly 13 million Americans are getting a rebate from insurance companies. That's right, they're sending you a check. Because under the law, we cap the amount of money that they can spend on administrative costs and CEO bonuses instead of your health care. And when they violate that rule, they got to send you a check. As your Obamacare secured new access to preventive care like mammograms, cancer screenings, no copay, no deductible, no out-of-pocket costs for more than 40 million women. for even more services. And now most health plans are going to begin covering the cost of contraceptive care. This is crucial for women's health. Not just prescribed contraception, not just for family planning, but as a way to reduce the risk of ovarian and other cancers. And it's good for our healthcare system in general, because we know the overall cost of care is lower when women have access to contraceptive services. And listen, we recognize that many people have strongly held religious views on contraception, which is why we made sure churches and other houses of worship, they don't have to provide it, they don't have to pay for it. We worked with the Catholic hospitals and universities to find a solution that protects both religious liberty and a woman's health. The fact is, nearly 99% of women have relied on contraception at some point, and more than half of all women between the ages of 18 and 34 have struggled to afford it.
Yes.
And we're changing that. But before healthcare reform, many healthcare plans charge high deductibles or co-pays for all these preventive services, or they just didn't cover them at all. And according to one study, more than half of all women put off the care they needed because of that. How many of you have gone without care that you needed, or a checkup because you knew that you might not be able to afford the insurance copay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Right now.
For gas or groceries or your kids' new soccer uniform. I don't think a working mom in Denver should have to wait to get a mammogram just because money's tight. I don't think a college student in Colorado Springs should have to choose between textbooks or preventive care that she needs. That's why we have this law. My opponent has a different view. And Sanders said, he said he would take the Affordable Care Act and kill it dead. Well, the first thing of the presidency, kill it dead. Which, I mean, just understand what this means. This means 26-year-olds, 6.5 million young people don't have health insurance. The preventive care, gone. Seniors paying more for prescription drugs. Pre-existing conditions, you're out of luck. Then he said he'd get rid of Planned Parenthood. Then he said he would have supported an extreme measure in Mississippi that could have outlawed some forms of contraception. Then he joined the far right of his party to support a bill that would allow any employer to deny contraceptive coverage to their employees. So it would be up to the employer to decide. Your boss telling you what's best for your health and your safety. Let me tell you something, Denver. I don't think your boss should get to control the health care that you get. I don't think insurance companies should control the care that you get. I don't think politicians should control the care that you get. I think there's one person to make these decisions on health care, and that is you. And, Mr. Romney's running as the candidate of conservative values. There's nothing conservative about a government that prevents a woman from making her own health care decisions. He says he's the candidate of freedom. But brings the chance, the opportunity to determine for yourself the care that you need when you need it. It's the ability to change jobs or start your own business without fear of losing your health insurance. To charge women more than men for health care. And we're not going back to the days when women with pre-existing conditions like being a cancer survivor, we're denied affordable care. We're not going to kick more than going out working off our parents' plan. We are not going backwards, Denver. We're moving forward. At a time when women make up nearly half the workforce, an increasing share of family breadwinners, these aren't just health issues, and they're not just women's issues. These are economic issues. They affect every family in America.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about what it means when a woman is the main breadwinner for her family, but she's taking less pay home, doing the same work as a man, just because she's a woman. That's not right.
No!
When my opponent's campaign was asked if he'd fight to guarantee an equal day's pay for an equal day's work, you know what the campaign said? They said, we'll get back to you on that. That's not a good answer. We'll get back to you on that? He won't say what he'd do about it. You've got my answer. I'll vote in the principle of equal pay for equal work was the first bill. Today's the 3-year anniversary of Sonia Sotomayor taking her seat on the Supreme Court. Yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Elena Kagan taking her seat. So let's be very clear. The next president could tip the balance of the court in a way that turns back the clock for women and families for decades to come.
That's true.
The choice between going backward and moving forward has never been so clear.
Forward!
Forward! Forward!
Let me say this. You know, when I talk about women's issues, I'm talking about the experiences that I've seen in my own life. Everybody knows Michelle. The fact that we are partners in this process, this journey in life, it has been my source of strength, and I want to make sure that she has control over her healthcare choices. I want to make sure that when she's working, she's getting paid the same as men. I got to say, First Lady's right now don't. It's a tough job. You know, my own mom would have been 70 years old this year. And my sister and I lost her to cancer when she was just 52 years old. And she got to meet Michelle, but she never got a chance to meet her granddaughters or watch them grow up. And I often think about what might have happened if the doctor had caught her cancer sooner. Or if she'd been able to spend less time focusing on how she was going to pay her bills and more time on getting well.
She's still
You know,
with us.
she is still with us. I think about me and Sasha, and I think to myself, well, you know, we're not going to have an America where they have fewer opportunities than somebody's sons. I don't want them having fewer choices than anybody's boys do. And then 4 years ago, as I had the privilege to travel all across this country to meet Americans from all walks of life, I heard so many stories like mine. And I decided nobody else should have to endure the heartbreak of a broken healthcare system. No one in the wealthiest nation on earth should go broke because they get sick. Nobody should be able to tell their daughters or sons that the decisions they can and cannot make for themselves are constrained because of some politicians in Washington. And thanks to you, we've made a difference in people's lives.
Yeah!
Thanks to you. There are folks that I meet today who have gotten care, and their cancer's been caught, and they've got treatment, and they are living full lives, and it happened because of you. Because of your efforts 4 years ago.
Woo!
We've come too far to turn back now. We've got too much work to do to implement health. We've got too much work to do to create good jobs. We've got too many teachers that we've got to hire. We've got too many schools we've got to rebuild. We've got too many students who still need affordable higher education. To generate. There are more troops that we got to bring home. There are more doors and
Simpson, the